Hello everyone, it's the Worm, and welcome back to Steins Gate. Last time, we reached our first ending. And yes, that was an official ending. I know because I got an achievement, and it said that I got Suzuha's ending. Now, that somewhat, well, I'm not sure if surprise is the correct word, but I found it a bit odd that turned out to be her ending. I mean, it makes sense in a way. We finished off with taking her Okabe, took her up on her offer to go with her to 1975. So in that sense, yeah, we're kind of committing to be with her and to try and accomplish her mission, which is to go get the IBN for us in the future. Of course, with the two of us back there, as she said, there could be a strong likelihood that more things will be changed. So it's a kind of well, I believe I titled the last episode as uncertain, and that's how it felt to me. As they said, Okabe said, I believe, there's no guarantee that they're going to get their memories. And even if they do have it, or have them, who's to say that they'll actually be able to, well, solve the issue? That being CERN. Because, unfortunately, well, that's probably not the right word either. Okabe is not Daru and he's not Karisu. I know, shocking statement to make. But, in a sense, he's not, Okabe doesn't make the time machine. That's gonna be Daru and Kurisu's work. Okabe, instead, he tends to be the leader and the guy making the plan and urging people on. So, even if they get the IBN, yeah, I don't know. It's an uncertain future. We don't know what's going to happen, and but certainly whatever would happen, it's better than what was happening in that ending leading up to it. And that's where some of my mixed thoughts come in on this. So I wanted to talk about it. That's why we're in the menu here today. So let's talk about that most of last episode. So poor old Okabe got himself stuck in a time loop, and funnily enough, this is not the first time I've had that situation occur while playing visual novels, but it led to some pretty dark places, as such scenarios usually do. And, well, it went very dark very quickly, I felt. And I'm not opposed to dark ideas or the dark thoughts that Okabe was having. I'm not opposed to having those types of things appear. It's more just I felt the speed at which we went into those sorts of things surprised me. Now, of course, you wouldn't want to drag out the ending. See, there was a moment in last episode where I said something like, "Oh, I think I see what's going on here," and I actually was wrong. I didn't say it. I forgot to say it at the end. I thought they were going to do something like it was actually going to just repeat forever, and you had to do something like load your save file in order to pick the other choice, you know? I'm pretty sure that's been done before, but I struggled to think of a specific example. But no, it was just it was a full-on ending in and of itself. Um, but the thing that struck me was as strange was it seemed weird to me that Okabe. Well, one, it was weird to me why he didn't do anything else. You know, he just decided to repeat the same 2 days, and it's not just repeating the same 2 days, it's repeating the same actions those same 2 days. I mean, I feel like you could get, if you have all the time in the world repeating the same 2 days, I think out of boredom more than anything else, you'd be able to think of, you'd try to do other things. And I get that he sort of wanted to have, the perfect day for Suza and Mayuri. I get that. But even after he started to get bored and or have the dark thoughts, he still didn't deviate at all. And then there's the other thing where I think he started having the dark thoughts on the 10th cycle or so. It might have been I know he was not exactly clear on what cycle he was on, but I felt that happened really quickly. Now, of course, I've had to say this sort of thing a few times now, but you know, I'm sitting back reading a story, and so it's easy for me to sit here and judge Okabe. And I've never been in a time loop. I mean, who knows? Maybe tomorrow I'll fall into one. But I still felt it a bit. It wasn't as believable for me that he. It felt like there was no build-up. It was 0 to 100 within, just a few sentences. It went from he's somewhat content and satisfied and glad he can provide 2 perfect days for his friends, to immediately thinking, wouldn't it be cool if Daru died, and what if I sexually assault my friend? It was so quick that there was no it just felt off to me. So it's not that it's not the dark direction that it took. It's more just the build up to that is what I was kind of having a problem with, at least on my first reaction to it. I mean, I could have been, if there was more build up, if they did it a different way, I think they could have done that sort of time leap situation a bit better. Because that sort of scenario, him getting stuck in a time loop and eventually going mad because of it, that is a fairly plausible, believable situation for him to get into. So it's I just kind of wish it was done a bit differently. So yeah, first ending in Steins Gate. And I think I said this last time, but I'm now thinking, what does that mean for me with regard to how far I am in this game? Now, obviously, don't put it in the comments, don't tell me, but I'm thinking, well, am I halfway through everything? Am I 50%, 80%? What's the, and I don't even know how many endings there are. So, I still feel like I'm early on. Is that do you think that's a weird feeling to have? I feel like, because I mean, well, I'll leave it at that. I just feel like I'm still early on. This ending did feel like a bad end to me, at least for most of it. So I think I know what I have to do in order to continue the story. So I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Again, I said at the beginning of this episode, it felt weird to me that it said it was Suza's ending. It just, because it wasn't really a conclusion as such. It didn't really feel like it didn't feel like a conclusion for Okabe. It didn't feel like a conclusion to Suzuha. I don't know. I think I'll have to think about it some more, and I'll have to see. I think I'll have to see some other endings before I can really go back and judge this one in particular. And yeah, okay. I think that's pretty much all I had to say starting out today. I'm gonna go ahead and take a quick break. It'll only be a moment for you, but when I get back, we are going to go ahead and get back to where I think I need to be in order to continue the story. So let's pause there and see you in a second. Okay, I'm back. And I see something new on the screen, something that wasn't there before. But before I address that, I remembered something I wanted to mention, but forgot to. I was going to say this. One could make an this goes to what I was saying with Okabe in the Suzuha ending, where he only did the same 2 days and he did the same actions, and I said, you know, why didn't he do other things? I think some people could make an argument that by that point his soul was kind of already broken with all the times Mayuri died, and then he got just a bit of hope back with Suzuha, only to have, you know, the terrible thing with her losing her memories and committing suicide. I think one could say, okay, the reason why Okabe only did those 2 days and repeated the same actions for those 2 days was because he was already broken at that point, and so he just did not have the motivation to do anything differently. And I guess I could see that, but it still felt off to me. So I still think they could have done it a bit better, but that's it. All right, so clearly there's a new symbol on the screen here, so I'm pretty sure now is the time to make the choice. Here we go. We're going to send an email, and of course, if you'll recall, not the last episode, not 50, but 49. At the end of 49, Okabe kind of went into what the repercussions of this would be, which is to say, we're going to destroy... Well, that's not the correct way to say it. We are going to prevent our bond with Suzuha from forming. And we are going to let her go before the rain destroys the machine. So yeah, so that sucks, but this is what Suzuha specifically requested that we do this for her, so let's do it. Let's break the bond. I start up the microwave. The discharge begins immediately. Place my thumb on the send button. Are you sure? Mayuri's voice is choked with tears. Our memories with Suzu-san will disappear. Is that really okay? Memories flash through my head. Being with you guys, even for just a little while, was great. I'm going to finish what you started, Dad. I promise. Well, See you in 35 years. Though I guess it'll only be a few hours for you guys.
お願い。未来を変えてほしい。
Please, change the future. Suzuha, I've made my choice. I won't ask for your forgiveness. Ultimately, I'm doing this to save Mayuri. But at the same time, the words you spoke on that rooftop are still strong in my heart. You entrusted to me your hope for the future. If I am to honor that wish and fulfill mine, then the time we spent together can never have happened. Alright, it's been a while since we've seen that. Chapter 6 clear! Ah, shucks. You ever... Well, I'm pretty sure it's a common feeling, so I'm sure plenty of you have. You ever get that feeling where you were about to say something and then you lose it? It's on the tip of your tongue, and then it just disappears from your mind, and you can't remember what you were going to say? Ah, that is so annoying. Dang it. That sucks. Okay. Okay, okay. Let's just hope that by the end of this episode I remember what I was going to say. Okay. The world shatters into geometric shapes that expand and contract like rubber toys. Light gathers between my eyes. Stars explode behind my eyelids. Gradually, color returns to the world. Let's hope we see an IBN on the counter somewhere. I wait for the vertigo to pass. Cold sweat oozes from my temples. Pressing my fists against them, I slowly force the air out of my lungs. Has the world line changed? Yes. I head to the lounge in order to check the divergence meter. Wait, would you even have that in this world line? Yeah, you wouldn't even have it. It's gone. I checked the meter a few minutes ago just before the world line changed. Now it's nowhere to be found. Oh! I remembered. I remembered the thing I was going to say. Okay, you know what? It's not really relevant right now. I'm gonna say it at the end of the episode. Let's do that. Okay. Yes. Because we weren't hanging out with Suzuha and so she didn't bring it over. Okay, yep. I quickly realize what has happened. Suzuha gave me the meter after we stopped her from leaving. My D-mail undid those events. Of course, the meter isn't here. Okay, what's really frightening to me is, because we did the D-mail, we're still right where we were previously. So, and if you'll recall, the whole terrorist threat for the trains, that just happened. So, unless something is really radically different, we're still in a lot of danger right now. So, yeah. Of course, the meter isn't here. A surge of regret seizes my heart. I clench my teeth and endure it as best I can. If nobody else remembers, then I alone will keep these memories of Suzuha alive. Look around the room. Mayuri and Krisu are on the sofa, dozing on each other's shoulders. Daru, oblivious to the vulnerable high school girls behind him, is playing an eroge on his computer. I take a deep breath and turn on the TV. I flip to a news channel. The world line should have changed. I erased the time we spent with Suzuha. That should have allowed her to leap to 1975 without losing her memories, and the IBN 5100 should be in our hands now. We can use it to hack into CERN and erase the data they intercepted from us. Without that information, Moeka's men won't attack the lab. Mayuri won't have to die. That's how it should be. That's how it has to be. Okay, so in the past, I was confused about how erasing the data would stop the attack on the lab. And we had, or I had someone give me a theory. This should be Lise who mentioned this to me. And it was an interesting idea, so I thought I'd mention it. I think the idea was something like maybe okay, it was Moeka's when Okabe got Moeka on the roof and held her at gunpoint and interrogated her. A few of the things that Moeka said sounded like it was information from the future. And so the thought went something like, the information from the future is about us going public with the time leap machine. And so the idea goes, if we delete the data that is in the secret server that can only be accessed by the IBN, then CERN, they won't have the record of our first D-mail. And thus, in the future, when CERN has gone through that data and understands when all that occurs, and presumably sends that information to the past, that's the information that Moeka and her men get to attack us. So if they don't have that information in the future, that will cause history to change. That's not the right word. It'll cause the future to change, in which case Moeka here in the present, she and her team won't get the information that will get them to attack us. So that was a bit I did not I don't think I put that exactly correct, but I think that's the gist of it. So that makes more sense to me, because I just did not understand how that would how just deleting that data would stop Moeka's men when they were on the way already. So but if that's what's going on here, then that makes sense. That would that would track. Because it just did not make sense to me otherwise. Okay, that's how it has to be. Otherwise, why did I sacrifice Suzuha's dream? The quickest way to confirm the change would be to check for any delays at Akihabara Station.
Daru, Yamanote 線は止まっているか?
Daru, is the Yamanote line stopped?
は? いや、止まってないんじゃね?
I don't think so.
ネットで調べてくれ.
Check online.
今いいところなのに.
Wait, I'm at the best part.
頼む.
Please. Daru sighs, pulls up Taboo's front page, and looks up train information.
やっぱ止まってないみたいだお.
Doesn't look like it stopped.
ありがとう.
Thanks. World line has changed, which means that our IBN 5100 should be in the development room. I head back there to search for it. But contrary to my expectations, I can't find it anywhere. What's going on? I look at my watch. It's 7:43 p.m. Moeka's men attack at... what time again? My heart is pounding like a drum. That D-mail was supposed to fix everything. The trains are moving as scheduled, which means Moeka's men aren't about to attack. So, why does it feel like nothing's fixed at all? The IBM 5100's absence is extremely disturbing. I want to sit down and think about where it could have gone, but a voice in my head is screaming that there's no time. I need to calm down. It's hard to think straight after everything that's happened. I check my watch again, 7:46 p.m. Images from the assault flashed through my mind. Mayuri bleeding to death on the floor. The smell of gunpowder in the air. I frantically shake the visions out of my head. I look toward the lab entrance. The door has yet to be kicked in by a team of hitmen. I swallow hard, petrified with terror. Please, don't let anything happen. It's past 9. I peek at the street through the window. Nobody's there.
オカリン、誰か待ってんの？さっきからやたら下を気にしてっけど。
Okarin? Are you waiting for someone? You keep looking out the window. Daru's right. I've probably looked out of the window 20 times in the past hour. And not a suspicious figure in sight. Like his men still haven't appeared. The raid was before 8, if I remember correctly. I think it's safe to say that my changes to the past have prevented it from occurring. Suzuha's sacrifice was not in vain. Let out a deep breath. I'm sweaty and disgusting. It's like my anxiety has pushed all the sweat out of my body.
マユリ、それにクリス。
Mayuri, Kurisu. The two girls woke up from their nap about half an hour ago. Now they're eating cup noodles.
今あんた私の名前普通に呼んだ？
Wait, did you just say my name correctly? Oh boy. I'm curious, Okabe, are you actually going to, are you going to tell them everything that's happened? I mean, that would be what I would want to do. That would be my instinct, would be to just let them know, but I'm not sure he will. I don't think he will, but if he would, boy, it would take a lot of explaining. Krisu looks at me in astonishment, like she can't believe her ears.
二人とも食事が終わったら帰るんだ。もう遅いから送っていく。
When you're done eating, go home. It's late, so I'll go with you. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think he would tell them, but I don't know. I kind of wish he did.
そうする。
Okie dokie. Well, you know, obviously, maybe not. Well, I'm sure he doesn't want to bring up the fact that Mayuri was killed, or, you know, there's something to be said about the idea of if he brings it up, wouldn't that just cause? Wouldn't that just? It could make them sad, you know. Something like, "Hey Daru, remember that Suzuha girl? She was actually your daughter, and we went through this whole crazy situation, and she eventually committed suicide." You know, that's not a good story to tell. So I could understand why he wouldn't want to just tell them everything.
別に岡部なんかに送ってもらわなくても一人で帰れるんだけど。
I don't need an escort from you. I can get back myself.
いいから。誰も支度しておけ。
Just listen. Daru, you too.
え？僕も？
Huh? Me too? The train lines running through Akihabara are operating normally. There's no bomb scare and no sign of Moeka or her men. Krisu's taking the Sobu line to the next station. Ochano Mizu, while Daru's going the opposite way to Shinkoiwa. Mayuri and I are taking the Yamanote line to Ikebukuro, so we part at the station's ticket gate. There are surprisingly fewer passengers on the train. I guess most of the businessmen are off for the Obon holiday. Mayuri, playing a handheld game, the Rainet Kakeru action RPG. Ah, I missed a word. Mayuri is playing a handheld game, the Rainet Kakeru action RPG. On the screen, her character is battling a gigantic Upa. I stand beside her and gaze at her profile, lost in thought. It's the night of the 13th, and Mayuri's still alive. How many times have I watched her die? How many times have I tasted that despair? No matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't save this ditzy childhood friend of mine from death. She died again and again right before my eyes. Now she's alive. Which makes me think. Also, hang on a second. Is that Karisu in Mayuri? You see that there? This poster here? Oh yeah, and look, there's this thing again, Chaos Head. I know that's their other game, or other visual novel. That's probably one too. Muramasa. This is kind of funny. What was I about to say? Yeah, okay. So it's interesting to me that we only had to one world line and Mayuri's alive. And it didn't even seem like that much. Of course, considering, I guess, that, you know, the whole idea with divergence, and I guess it could technically be infinite. We went from 0.3 something percent to 0.4 something percent, and that's all it took to be on a world line where Mayuri isn't fated to die. I don't know. Just see, I don't know what to think of that yet. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that maybe we don't have an IBN, but maybe Suzuha did something else. At least. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think she bought the building again? I guess we'll find out. But now she's alive, standing by my side, playing a game. This is why I sacrificed our memories with Suzuha. It was the only way. I'm sorry, Suzuha. And thank you. Suzuha no longer exists in this time, but I hope my feelings will reach her all the same. Actually, come to think of it, why can't I tell her in person? Where in Akiba could the 54-year-old Suzuha be? Try asking Tenoji tomorrow. He probably knows Suzuha on this world line too. I wonder if Suzuha remembers me. Hey, Okarin? Mayuri suddenly lifts her head. She looks at me hesitantly. Her cheeks are slightly pink. What? Come on, Okarin. Mayushi gets nervous when you stare at her like that.
Game over にでもなったのか?
Did I make you get a game over? Yeah.
それは悪かった.
Sorry about that. I apologize, but keep looking at her. Instead of starting a new game, Mayuri looks at me with concern.
今日のオカリなんだかいつもと違うような気がするよ。
There's something different about you today, Okarin.
そうか.
Really?
どうかしたの?
Yeah. What's wrong? I remind myself that Mayuri is more perceptive than she seems. She proved that when she figured out that Daru was Suzuha's father. I don't want to worry her too much. I want Mayuri to smile her usual ditzy smile without a care in the world. After all, it's over now. She's safe.
俺は何も変わってはいない。今もお前の顔を見ていたのでは。いかに世界に混沌をもたらすかを考えていたのだ。
Hey, Okabe, did you ask the lab mems about the IBN or about the time leap machine? I mean, presumably, the reason why these two, or Mayuri and Kurisu, were sleeping is because they were doing that thing where Mayuri was completing a costume and Kurisu was doing the time leap machine, and it was kind of a race, something like that. So, at least that would be something I want to confirm. I don't know. Nothing's wrong. And I wasn't looking at you just now. I was devising new ways to bring chaos to the world.
本当に無理してない？
Really? You seem kind of tired.
この狂気のマッドサイエンティストに無理なことなど一つもない。常に IQ170 を誇る灰色の脳細胞が完璧な計算を叩き出しているのだからな。
Mad scientist is never tired. The mighty gray cells of my 170 IQ brain are always performing calculations day and night.
そっか。でもね、たまにはボケーって休むことも必要なんだよ。そのことをね、忘れないでね、オカリン。
Oh, but you should still take a break every now and then. Please, Ocarine? For me? Having said that, Mayuri returns to her game. I feel cold stares all around me, but I don't care at all. Mayuri is here by my side, doing everyday Mayuri things. Ordinary things. Everything is going back to normal. Of course you just had to say that. Of course you just had to say that, Okabe. I know the trajectory here. I know how this game operates now. You build me up and then you knock me down. Yesterday was my first time home in a while, so I slept like a log in my comfortable bed. It could be because of my mental exhaustion, but that was my best night's sleep in a while. Before heading up to the lab, I stop and stare at the Braun Tube workshop. The familiar mountain bike is gone. Suzuha liked it so much, she insisted on bringing it with her to 1975. The workshop door opens and out comes Mr. Braun, rubbing his eyes sleepily.
お岡部、おめえずいぶん暇そうだな。うちでバイトしねえか。今なら特別に月給ブラウン管1台で雇ってやる。
Well, as appealing as that sounds, Mr. Braun, I don't know if we can take you up on that offer. Yo, Okabe, you've got free time. How about a job? As a special offer, I'll hire you for 1 CRT a month. 1 CRT a month? So for 1 month's work, I get an old television. Hell no.
鈴葉はいつ頃辞めたんでしたっけ？
When did Suzuha quit again?
鈴葉？誰だそいつは。
Suzuha? Who the hell's that? What? Was her existence erased completely? Yeah, that doesn't sound right. How could that D-mail have done that? But that's impossible.
たった10日ばかりで辞めてくようなゆとりバイトの名前なんざ、とっくに忘れちまったぜ。
Oh. Okay. False alarm, everyone. I ain't got time to remember the name of some lazy part-timer who quit after just 10 days.
俺紛らわしい言い方を。
Damn you and your misleading words. Ah, so Suzuha did work here. That fact, the evidence of Suzuha's sojourn in 2010, still remains in this world line.
絶 かく俺が楽でいると思ったのによ。だから嫌なんだ。最近の若いのは根性なしもいいところだぜ。
That was still remains on this world line, not in this world line. And I thought I finally had some help for a change. That's what I hate about you damn kids. No dedication.
どうせ面接の時に言ってたブラウン管が好きってのも嘘だったんだろうよ。まんまと騙されちまった。
I bet she lied about liking CRTs too. Got me good. Tanoji shrugs his shoulders, annoyed. Naturally, he doesn't know about Suzuha's true identity.
橋田鈴という人を知っていますか？
Does the name Hashida Suzu ring a bell? At this, Tanoji's eyes go wide.
懐かしい名前だな。おめえ、知り合いだったのか？
This raises an interesting question. How did Suzuha come to be known as Hashida Suzuha? That's not her name. Or that wasn't the name. How did she become known as Hashida Suzu in the instance where she lost her memories? And in this instance here, why is she known as Hashida Suzu? Because she never learned that her dad was Daru, or at least she shouldn't have. So why did she get that name in both instances? Haven't heard that name in a long time. You knew her? Huh? Knew her?
その人は今は
So now she's...
もうかれこれ10年になるか。
It's been 10 years already, huh? Okay, are they gonna fake me out or what? Is it a bait and switch? 10 years. 10 years since what? No. I don't want to know the answer. Tanoji has a faraway look in his eyes as if he's gazing into the past.
あの人には随分世話になった。
She really helped me out. Why are you talking about her in the past tense?
天涯孤独だったらしくてな。せめて俺が見とってやりたかったんだが。
Ah, dang it. She didn't have any relatives. Not that I knew of. I wish I could have been with her in the end. The end? There's only one thing that can mean. Even though the world line changed, Suzuha didn't survive to the year 2010.
でもまあ、こう言っちゃなんだが、死に顔は穏やかだったよ。
To tell you the truth, though, she looked peaceful when I found her.
穏やか自殺じゃないのか？
Peaceful? She didn't commit suicide?
自殺？お前それ誰から吹き込まれたんだよ。すずさんは病気で亡くなったんだ。根も葉もねえ話を信じてんじゃねえ。
Suicide? Who the hell told you that? Suzu-san was sick. Believe any old thing you hear. She was sick. Sickness killed her? I shouldn't feel good about that. But I guess you could say it's better than what happened before the world line changed. That's what I tell myself anyway.
で、おめえとすずさんはどういう知り合いだったんだ？
So how did you know Suzu-san?
昔俺も世話になったんです。もう一度会いたいって思っていたのに。
She helped me out too, a long time ago. I was hoping to see her again.
そうか。
Yeah?
あの人が住んでた家は今は俺が使ってんだ。位牌もそこにある。なんなら手を合わせに来るか。
I'm living in her old house now. Wanna come pay your respects at the altar? I nod without a moment's hesitation. Tanoji closes up shop and we head off toward his house. We're just doing it, huh? Oh, shucks. This feels like this is gonna be a whole thing. This feels like this is gonna be an entirely whole scene where we go to the house and find tons of stuff. And I'm kind of getting close on time. Okay, we're gonna do an early episode today. Or shorter episode. Sorry about that. Just where I'm at, it's late at night, and I just kind of want to I want to wrap it up, to be perfectly honest with you. But hey, that should mean that next time we'll be able to devote our full attention to this development here. And yeah, it sucks. That sucks to hear Souza has still died. Makes you wonder if that's a kind of... You know, if Mayuri was fated to die, is that not a similar thing happening with Suzuha, where she's fated to die in that instance? But that would be weird because it's a different world line, but I don't know. The nature of these world lines and their rules still escapes me. Let's talk about there was the thing that I was trying to remember, and I remembered what I was going to say. The reason why I wanted to hold off till the end to say it was because it's relating back to the discussion I had at the beginning of the episode. So we're talking about the Suzuha ending again. This just goes back to the abruptness of the dark turn that ending had. When Okabe started having those evil thoughts, he made a statement that went something like, it feels like the thoughts weren't his own, or that, you know, that his mind was being invaded or something like that. And I wanted to remember that. It didn't, you know, and part of the reason why that stuck out to me is because it felt so abrupt. The evil thoughts felt so abrupt that I thought that was actually going to be what was happening, that somehow evil thoughts were being, I don't know, projected into his head, or some sort of I mean, we know CERN's into mind control, so maybe something weird was happening with his mind. Now that ended up not that doesn't seem to be the case. It doesn't look like that is what was actually going on, but I wanted to keep it in mind just in case. Just because, yeah, the evil thoughts just felt so abrupt to me that I actually thought what he said was going to be true. So that was all. That was it. That was what I was trying to remember, and I couldn't remember. Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. Anyway, that's pretty much it, or that's pretty much all for me today. I mentioned this a few episodes back, but I thought I'd mention it again. I do have a Discord now, so if you ever feel like dropping by and wanting to talk about a few things, again, we try to, at least with regard to my playthroughs and stuff, try to keep it strictly non-spoilery, but we can have discussions about stuff that's already occurred. So, you know, if you want to ask me a question about what's happened in a previous episode, you know, and we could try, you know, be careful about asking certain pointed questions, because you could be directing my thinking a bit, but I don't mind being reminded of things, or having things clarified for me, because, you know, sort of how I mentioned earlier, that allows me to make more sense of things. So, feel free to drop by if you just want to chat. In any case, I've been The Worm. This has been Steins Gate. I hope you're doing well, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.